Catch up on some politics on the national and international stages with some local ties. In a recent conversation with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson of Bossier, he discussed the war in Ukraine. Of particular note was the recent authorization by President Biden to allow U.S.-made missiles to be utilized by Ukrainian forces and fired into Russia. That enraged Russian President Vladimir Putin, who warned using those missiles would lower the threshold for engaging Russia's nuclear arsenal. I asked the Speaker why now for those U.S. missiles.
We're scratching our heads. I'm not exactly sure what the White House's strategy is here, but there is a danger in escalating it. From Ukraine's standpoint, you could say they're adequately now pushing back against the onslaught that the Russians have, unjustly committed on them for now a long, long time.
But of course, escalation is the last thing the incoming administration wants to see.
It is dangerous stuff. Now, I spoke with President Trump about this. He is absolutely convinced, and I am as well, that he can bring an end to this conflict, that he will call Zelensky and Putin and tell them this is enough, let's end it. Putin was telegraphing, signaling that he would be open to that because I think he's exhausted by all the conflict as well.
Johnson says peace through strength is one of the conservative administration's guiding principles. Meanwhile, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy is supporting the Trump administration's efforts to prevent the Diego Garcia military base from changing hands. Diego Garcia is on the Chagos Islands in the Indian Ocean. It's been a key base in several conflicts, including those in the Middle East and the First Gulf War. Kennedy argues the U.S. must do everything possible to prevent the UK from ceding sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to the island of Mauritius.
And it is not just any military base. It is an extraordinarily important military base. Our military base is one of the few in the world where our military can reload submarines. Hugely important.
Now, if control of those islands goes to Mauritius, Kennedy says China is already sniffing around Diego Garcia.
President Biden and Vice President Harris are giving away this military base. They're giving it away. Why? I mean, no offense, but that's cell deep stupid.
Kennedy says it's all an attempt to appease the United Nations and China, something he obviously opposes. And Louisiana's other Senator Bill Cassidy was touting the advancement of his RISE Act. That stands for Reinvesting in Shoreline Economies and Ecosystems. The bill eliminates state revenue sharing caps and creates a dedicated stream of funding from offshore wind development.
And all this money is to be used for coastal protection and resiliency. By removing the revenue sharing cap, we can bring billions of additional dollars back to Louisiana to restore our coastline. By the way, creating a lot of jobs along the way. It's good for our economy, it's good for our environment, it's good for our nation.
Cassidy says the RISE Act is supported by state and national leaders.